Vaccination Station. Hear from Elon students taking advantage of hundreds of doses of the coronavirus vaccine on campus. Our Ashlyn Deloe has more.
VACCINATE continues. Today was the end of the university's second on-campus vaccine clinic in South Gym. Elon's infectious disease response team coordinates these clinics under the direction of physician Jeanette Archinault and Dean Jana Lynn Patterson.
We really want, not only for our students, but also in the people in the local area, we want them to have access to vaccine too. And we feel from the senior staff and from President Book on down, it has been a commitment that we will be a good community partner.
Through targeted outreach, the university is inviting all who are eligible to make an appointment. They receive vaccine doses from the Alamance County Health Department and Piedmont Health. But the one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccines they're administering today are directly from the state. The university contracted local licensed nurses to be vaccinators alongside trade faculty and staff from the School of Health Sciences. As more people in the community receive their vaccines, students like Elon Jr. Maddie Cooper are hopeful for the fall.
I'm really hoping that it's normal as it can be. And I think that this is a great way now. If in the spring people are getting vaccinated, hopefully over the summer everything can kind of transition and they can work on a plan to get things going back to normal.
According to Dean Patterson, about 4% of the Elon community reported that they were fully vaccinated through the testing exemption system. Patterson expects that number to change dramatically for the better.
We're really going to be encouraging students in the next few weeks because everybody will be eligible if you don't get it here, get it somewhere else, but get it.
Patterson's team says they're planning to vaccinate 80% of the community by the end of next month. Ashlyn Deloe, Elon Local News.
The state is set to ship 1,800 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine to the university next week.
University employees and individuals with underlying health conditions are the latest group to become eligible for the vaccine. But beginning Wednesday, all college students in North Carolina will also become eligible. The following week, all adults in North Carolina will be eligible for the vaccine. Earlier this afternoon, President Joe Biden said 90% of U.S. adults will be eligible for the vaccine in 3 weeks.
As campus continues to get vaccinated, our Jack Norcross spoke with Ready and Resilient Chair Jeff Stein about easing coronavirus restrictions and even got a preview of what the fall semester may look like.
Assuming that we get off of this surge, let's say in the next 2 weeks, and we have a largely fully vaccinated campus in a month, do you foresee us loosening those restrictions, certainly before the end of the year?
It's not that we need to ease every restriction, right? It's not that we think the state's going to allow us to shift back from 6-foot distancing in classrooms, but students have made it so clear that if we could just increase some of the numbers for gathering, if we could have, a few more tables in the dining hall, just anything to move in that direction as the numbers allow it, go there. And I think we want to do that to support students' well-being and just this clear movement that we all want to be on towards fewer restrictions. These other kind of eased restrictions mean we should be able to, in the near future, allow more people to allow more appointments so more people can be working out in campus rec and those kinds of things, right? Because all those things not only support well-being, give us all a little more freedom, but they start helping us to create a pathway towards post-pandemic life. And we got to get there, right? So that's important.
Will Elon look at, or will they require vaccinations to attend in-person classes in the fall?
I think we're going to see institutions taking this step. The reason most institutions are pausing is just based on the fact that these are emergency use authorization FDA approvals, and that makes it tough legally to require. We have not made a decision about requiring. We don't think we're there yet and need to hear more. And even if we did require, you're seeing these other schools saying, but of course we'll have exceptions for religious reasons and medical reasons. So I think it's going to be a while before we're ready to make that decision.
Where are you seeing the role of hybrid classes and virtual classes kind of playing into that? Do you see any room for that kind of in the fall?
Yeah, I think people are really exploring and expecting that there's probably some need for virtual, but our primary mode would be in person, face to face. And so when I say some, there may be folks who still have medical conditions, and I don't want to make any blanket statements. There may be some folks who need to be remote in that regard. There may be times when we've learned from this and faculty will say, pedagogically, it makes more sense for this part of my course.
Stein says the Ready and Resilient Committee is currently drafting recommendations for the fall. One plan is based on a decline in COVID-19 cases and easing restrictions. The other focuses on if conditions stay the same or get worse.
The Root is opening indoor seating for the first time since the start of the pandemic, but only until Saturday. It's one of the last downtown restaurants that will welcome customers back through its doors. Business partner of the Root and Tangent, Quinn Ray, is looking forward to the soft reopening to dine in tomorrow night.
Start on Tuesday with just evening services, trying to get our feet under us again, see what it looks like, figure out the logistics, what work doesn't work, and then I foresee us moving pretty quickly, getting into lunch and stuff of that nature.
Ray says because of the limited space and over-the-counter style service, Tangent will remain strictly grab and go until they can open at 100% capacity.
With construction well underway, the new Publix grocery store in Burlington is set to open next fall. If you drive by the construction site at Holly Hill Mall, you can see the progress on the building. Crews are about to start building 2 other retail strips as well. Real estate developer The Morgan Companies is in charge of construction. President Trey Morgan says he talks with Publix almost every day, and both parties are excited to open up.
We look for good opportunities not only in North Carolina, but really the entire Southeast. And we knew that Burlington was a great community, obviously with Elon and some other really important factors, but we thought Publix would be a good fit here.
Morgan says 2 of the businesses joining the Publix are a dental office and the fast food chain Habit Burger.
ENN is diving deeper into the town's increased gathering limits. Hear from Elon students about it straight ahead.
And Elon students aren't the only ones excited for an in-person graduation. Stay tuned to hear from an excited Elon parent about the university's plan.
Look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
she doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new. Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened? Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
The town of Elon Board of Aldermen says they're keeping a close eye on the repercussions of a decision they made. This comes after the increase in gathering limits last week. Our Christian Galvano has more on the town's decision.
Elon students can now host more people at their homes. 25 people are now allowed to gather inside, and 50 people are permitted to be outside.
We don't want to be in the bad this week, good this week, and raising numbers up and down. We've tried for consistency so that everybody's clear and not getting caught one way or the other on the wrong side of a changing decision.
Elon Town Manager Richard Rodner says he's helping make decisions based on the latest health data and state guidance. According to the latest report from Alamance Emergency Management, statewide COVID infections are slightly up. For Alderwoman Emily Sharp, the decision to increase gathering sizes is not something to take lightly.
We think about our neighbors and our community members and how our decisions can affect them. And in a situation like this, our decisions can literally kill someone if we were to get them sick.
An email from the head of the Ready and Resilient Committee, Jeff Stein, wrote the university is, quote, partners with the town on the decision. Both Sharp and Rodner say they're cautiously optimistic.
I think that I am a little unsure how to feel. I think that as long as we continue to make smart decisions and follow the guidelines, then the higher gathering limits can be done safely.
Allows for residents to have a little bit more capacity and freedom. We're still concerned, quite frankly.
Christian Galvano, Elon Local News.
If you live on campus, Residence Life has also increased how many people you can have over. Stay up to date on our website about the latest with that.
And the Elon community is now reacting to those new gathering limits. Our Jack Cicernos talked to Elon students around campus to see what they think.
Things are getting better, so I think it's good. If it did come out earlier, it could have come out earlier.
The more people we can have in a room just means the closer we are to normal social gatherings, which is always good for colleges.
I think we've gotten stronger connections, but now that things are getting a little bit bigger, we can really enjoy that graduation together as a whole again.
I definitely do feel comfortable with 50 people outside at a Darty. I think that enough people at Elon have been vaccinated or have been sick themselves.
Well, I'm feeling like pretty confident, but also I still want to respect other people's boundaries, so I'm kind of feeling it out so far.
There's definitely more eyes on you with everything, so you gotta be on your P's and Q's, and you have to represent more than just yourself.
To read more about the town guidelines, go to elonnewsnetwork.com.
And as more people can gather, one Greek organization on campus may be ready to put those words to action. President of Delta Upsilon Fraternity Chuck Blake says with harsher limits lifted, he's excited to be able to do more, both socially and philanthropy. As a member of the Interfraternity Council on Elon's campus, he says members can still feel the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, I think there's always, a fear that the few will ruin it for the many, right? But I think I'm confident that the other presidents, have that under wraps, and everyone understands that, we can't really be doing all that kind of stuff yet. We need to, still take it seriously.
One event in particular Blake is hoping to bring back is the DU Dogs philanthropy event.
Parents of Elon seniors are reacting to the latest graduation news. Elon University is planning to host multiple in-person graduation ceremonies at Schar Center. Mother of an Elon senior, Jenny Cummins, says her daughter put in too much work not to walk across the stage in May.
We were so excited, happy that we'd be able to see all the kids graduate. We were planning to go down and celebrate with her regardless, but this will make it even more special.
According to the latest commencement update, the university will begin distributing caps and gowns starting April 19th.
Job security is especially hard during the pandemic, but what if your desired industry doesn't exist right now? We talked to Elon students about this just ahead.
What are you, superheroes?
Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence.
You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
As the university continues to vaccinate its students, a team of 3 faculty members are studying how long the COVID-19 vaccine grants immunity. Melissa Murfin, Cindy Bennett, and Nita Skillman from the School of Health Sciences are aiming to find if the COVID vaccine stimulates antibodies that last up to 1 year. Elon students, faculty, and staff who have not tested positive for the virus and have not yet been vaccinated are able to take part in the study.
Students are voicing their concerns over burnout since the majority of their classes and extracurriculars are still mostly virtual. Elon sophomore Olivia Eller says the short breaks throughout the semester meant to help students contribute to the burnout.
So a lot of that kind of social part of the year is not as prevalent. And I think that contributes to burnout because you're working more, you're by yourself more, and that can be really detrimental to either your mental health or just your ability to kind of stay focused as well.
Eller says she wishes university administration would acknowledge the burnout. She says promoting resources for mental health would be helpful.
Really helpful for them to kind of plug mental health resources that they have on campus more on social media and just in general in the their websites and such. That would be really helpful, I think, for students to be aware of the resources that they might have available to them.
If you're experiencing burnout, one resource is Elon Counseling Services. You can schedule an appointment by calling 336-278-7280.
Tonight, Democrats are continuing to push for expanding voting rights. The U.S. Senate is trying to pass the For the People Act, which seeks to expand early and mail-in voting, among other changes to federal elections. The bill already passed the House on a party-line vote. Republicans argue this is a Democratic power grab and that election laws should be left up to states. Elon senior and self-proclaimed voting rights advocate Pearl Sullivan says expanding voting rights should be a nonpartisan issue.
I think every elected official, every political party should advocate for accessibility to voting. We live in a democracy. That's one of the crucial parts of a democracy. And so I don't think it should be a partisan issue. And it's been something that I've really had issues with, that it has become so partisan.
The push from Democrats at the federal level follows a new Republican-backed law in Georgia adding voting restrictions, including requiring identification for mail-in voting. Sullivan is also a Georgia resident and says she's worried about voter turnout in future elections.
Because people turned out, because people voted, and it didn't go the way that the elected officials wanted it to go. And I think that should be something that's concerning to everybody. I think it's also something that's not just happening in Georgia. Like, we're seeing legislatures across the country introduce similar voting legislation in the wake of the election last November.
And during the 2020 election, Georgia saw a record-breaking number of voters. Sullivan hopes the state can keep those numbers up.
One of North Carolina's U.S. senators announced today he is getting surgery to treat his prostate cancer. In a statement, Senator Tom Tillis emphasized the importance of routine cancer screenings, saying, quote, "I am blessed that my cancer was detected relatively early, and I can't emphasize enough how important routine screenings are." Tillis is expected to make a full recovery. Cooler today than the last few days, or at least this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Our Anna Terry is live on Citroen Plaza. Anna, how does the rest of this week look?
Thank you, Brian and Maeve. After a very rainy Sunday, many Elon students were seen outside around campus taking full advantage of the sunshine today. And as we head into the rest of the week, into our Phoenix 5-day forecast, tomorrow we can expect it to be a bit warmer with a high of 70 and a low of 55. And on Wednesday, this sunshine is going to be replaced by some thunderstorms with a high of 70 degrees and a low of 39. And on Thursday, we can expect it to get a bit cooler with some wind and a high of 50 degrees and a low of 28. Friday, we will see sunny skies and a high of 52 and a low of 30 degrees. On Saturday, we will see a high of 61 and a low of 39. That's your Phoenix 5-day forecast. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Anna. Elon University students are facing uncertainty in their career paths as the pandemic continues. Music theater majors are continuing to audition and perform virtually, but the question remains what they'll do after graduation. Elon Jr. Zion Middleton is concerned how the pandemic will impact his future.
It's terrifying, to be quite honest. I mean, I've been exploring all my options, looking at like, do I take a full-time job and wait until Broadway comes back? Do I go to grad school? Do I just wait it out and hope I can get a like side job and stay at home? It's a lot of just unknown factors. And I think that's the worst part.
And that was Elon senior Katie Burnjack. It's been over a year since Broadway has gone dark and its reopening date is still uncertain. She and Zion both say they're considering different career paths after graduation.
We are working for something that doesn't really exist or something that we're hoping will come back soon. So that can kind of get discouraging because it's like, wow, like Broadway, what I want to do with my life is just like doesn't exist right now.
For a deeper look at virtual theater and how the Broadway shutdown has impacted students, pick up a copy of The Pendulum this Wednesday.
Elon Admissions says they're expanding tours and admissions events. Limitations on travel and gatherings have halted many prospective students from visiting campus this year. But Vice President for Enrollment Greg Zeiser said in an email to Elon News Network they have, quote, many students on waiting lists for visits. Zeiser also wrote the increased gathering limits in town will allow them to expand as much as they're able to. And coming up, how Burlington's uniquely named minor league baseball team is preparing for its season.
In 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Son, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With a unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
Well, it's officially spring, which means there's a lot happening with sports now. Anne-Marie Bonner has our sports update. Anne-Marie, what's new?
The weather is getting nicer, which means baseball season is on the horizon. General manager of the newly rebranded Burlington Sock Puppets, Anderson Rathburn, says first things first is getting fans in the stands.
We want to make sure that when we open up, we can do things that makes our fans feel safe in the ballpark and welcome when they come through the gates. So.
The team will start slugging at Burlington Athletic Stadium on June 5th. Now, Women's History Month is wrapping up this week, but for many females in the sports industry, women's equality is a year-round topic. For head softball coach Kathy Bocock, this is not something she likes to focus on every day.
It's not something that I think on a daily basis because I am a very grateful, very thankful for person to have everything and the opportunities that I have on a daily basis. So I try to focus on the positive, not dwelling on things that I don't get.
Mm-hmm. For a more in-depth look on this topic, be sure to grab a copy of this week's Pendulum on Wednesday. Many teams will be traveling out of town this week for games, but let's take a look at events happening right here at Elon. Tomorrow, we have men's tennis set to face off against Coastal Carolina University at 2:30. On Wednesday, women's tennis is also set to compete against Methodist University at 3 p.m. Then, after a long few weeks, football is set to return home to play this Saturday at 4 p.m. against William & Mary. Tickets for that will go live tomorrow morning. And that's the week ahead in the sports world. Back to you, Brian and Maeve. And coming up this Thursday in sports, Elon's featured twirler is continuing to create her own routines even without a regular football season. Junior Jill Ford performs with the marching band, but decided to step back this season after hearing she'd be restricted to the performing arts in the stands. Now she practices all day, every day, all while playing with fire.
Awesome, thanks, Anne-Marie. Sounds like there's certainly a lot going on in the sports world after, a kind of slow year with the pandemic.
And I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. I don't keep that caught up. So this is really, it's helpful to hear about the week and see what we've got going on campus.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for that twirler story. I miss going to the football games for the football, but I also miss, seeing the band and seeing everybody perform too.
And that's all the news we have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
And here's a look at the twirler. For all the news you need to know when we're not on the air, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
And be sure to follow us on social media at Elon News Network.
Have a great night, Elon.